Boom. Howdy, fam. Anthony Johnson here today, founder of 21 Studios, 21 Summit, the 21 Convention, the 22 Convention, Patriarch Connect Convention, 21 University, the Under 21 Convention, and co-founder of the Redman Group. Here with a special episode of 21 Live, and right out of Orlando, Florida, live from my house. Not usually we do these in person, but today I got Ayindei up from Authentic Alphas, from Miami, Florida. He's visiting here in Orlando for a couple days. I got him on the way out. He's heading home to Miami in a few hours. Appreciate you coming by, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah. I'm not sure if I should look at you or look at the camera.
You can do either one.
Either one. I'll do a combination of both and make sure my mic is here. So what's up, guys? Happy to be here. Have a lot of respect and appreciation for this guy. So
thanks.
Just here trying to learn, you know?
Yep. Yeah, try to get the mic a bit closer too. I should have moved it closer for you.
Yeah, I'm over here taking note of the mic because I need something like this myself.
So we've talked a couple times before on the Redman Group remotely. We've had like audio issues and like all this bullshit. So finally we could talk in person about a lot of issues and get us 100% clear back and forth. So first of all, like, what's your history in the Manosphere and why did you start a YouTube channel, Authentic Alphas? Link in the description, guys. Check it out and subscribe.
Well, that's an interesting story. So we'll try to make it short. But I'm probably one of those guys that was always determined to kind of find a way, you know. I never was a fan of no. You know what I mean? I always had this belief in my head that like rules were for the majority, you know, no was for everyone who was willing to accept no. So I kind of always finagled my own way.
And that's like in life or with women specifically?
Just with everything. Okay. You know, it's like, you know, you're sitting on the bench and you want to start, you start building a better relationship with the starting players. You start finding ways to get the coach's attention so that you can get that extra attention as far as helping you improve enough. So maybe you get a shot and maybe you're not even that deserving of it, say athletic wise, but you're getting that shot because of your social relationship with the star players and maybe the coach. You know what I mean? So I was always looking for that extra angle. You know, you ask your mom for something and she says, no, we don't got money for that. Well, I'm raking leaves in the fall and I'm shoveling snow in the winter. And the next time we have this conversation, I'm going to be giving my mom money. You know what I'm saying? So not being willing to accept no, I think is what has defined me character-wise. And I think a lot of guys don't have that element to them. And they don't have to have it to the extent that I maybe feel that I need to have it. But for me, it's difficult to look at someone that I think has had better opportunities than me. Maybe they had a leg up. Maybe they came from money. Maybe they're 6 foot tall. You know, they could have had something that they kind of came in the game with, and then they're less ambitious than me. And I feel like, you know, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? If I could do it from my starting point, then you could. So that's kind of something I see more and more of every generation. And I had a cousin who told me in 2005, you need to get a YouTube channel. This is before I even really knew what YouTube was.
That's the year YouTube was founded, I think.
Yeah, and I had no interest in it. Like I had no interest in social media. Like every form of social media that I've had, it had to be pushed on me by someone close to me. I got Instagram because like my best friend in New York just made me one. He's like, you don't have Instagram? I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't care what that is, you know, because I was always like a real life type of person. I can't have but so much interest in, say, like Madden. I'd rather go out and play football. I'd rather be the guy that's like rallying everybody in the neighborhood. Let's play football next Sunday. Let's go to the park, you know? So I like the real life hands-on kind of thing.
Same.
So that's why I was late to social media, because I felt like, why would I be at home doing that when I could like be out in the real world being social with people?
It's been the same for me. Like I was a very slow adopter to like Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and all this bullshit. Like I made a Twitter like 13 years ago, but never used it. I didn't use it for 7 years. It just sat there.
I never used mine. I have one, but I sent like one tweet and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah. I get into it now because Trump kind of, you know, the way he used it before he got banned, that really inspired me to just go off on people and issues and feminism and whatever. And even just like screenshotting it and then dumping it on the YouTube community tab, stuff like that. So for me, it's fun these days, but it's a shithole. It's a shithole of intellectual cesspool stuff.
We had the barbershop. So for me, like that was Twitter.
Okay.
The barbershop.
You're from New York, right?
Yeah. So you kind of talk about those type of issues that you would take to Twitter with. Those are the type of things we would talk about in the barbershop, just men amongst men.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt robbed at times, because when I was younger, I was always looking at the older men and thinking, oh, okay, when I'm that age, I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to have access to that. That's going to happen. And then you kind of get older and it's gone now. And you're like, well, where are the cigar lounges? Like, where do the guys play dominoes now? You know what I mean? Where's the beautiful women that were chaste all this time? That's going to be my wife, my main chick. Now that I've been out here playing the field and enjoying myself, where's the Jackie Brown for me that hasn't been sleeping around? So there was a lot of things that I think weren't there when I turned the age that I thought that was supposed to be waiting for me, because I was watching the older guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the generations are missing so much, and all we can do is kind of try to describe it to them. Yeah. Because they can't grasp it. They're like, well, we have no idea what are you talking about. Yeah. It's like, wow, this is how it used to be.
It reminds me of Tate, recently our buddy Andrew Tate, we both met him and interviewed him. He's like been so popular, not only across generations and age groups, a lot of young kids are reading news articles like in major headlines about, middle school kids and even elementary school kids, 8-10 years old. And they're in school talking about Andrew Tate. And these teachers are freaking out. They're like, oh, misogyny, whatever bullshit they make up. But he reached like kids, man, inadvertently or unintentionally. But yeah, to me, they must be looking at this old generation, and Tate must be like a dinosaur to them. He's old enough to be their father in some cases.
I think a lot of these teachers and coaches and instructors or whatever adults are complaining about his presence, I don't think they can even relate either to whatever the magic is or whatever is the element that young people are gravitating towards. And I think it's real simple. I think what's happening is he's telling them very basic, not even ideas, just basic understandings that they're long overdue for. Yeah. That somebody should have told them that in their childhood. Yep. So I think that's why the children are gravitating towards it, because some of the kids are probably thinking to themselves, well, that makes more sense to me than the explanation that I'm getting from all these PC adults that are oblivious. Because you got to understand, kids kind of come into the world seeing things, very, very, it's very simple. Yeah. This equals this, that equals that. Why am I getting bullied? Kids understand it. It's when you start getting an explanation from an adult, they start getting confused because they feel like, well, that isn't kind of really making sense with what I'm experiencing or what I inherently would think or understand. So they kind of talk them out of reason, if that makes any sense. Yeah. They talk them out of that common sense logic, and then they get confused because it's like, well, I thought this was supposed to equal this. And a lot of people are experiencing that with money, education, women, friends, purpose. So it's like every area of your life, we're confused.
Well, I'm even thinking of kids now, like, these 12-year-old kids, they grew up, you see boys, you see girls at school, but it's only adults that tell them there's 500 genders and you can be gender fluid and non-gender binary.
Or that boys and girls are the same.
Or they're the same. Yeah.
Right. They're like, we don't feel the same.
Yeah. They don't look the same.
We don't feel the same. We don't look the same. But yet you're telling me that my differences are a behavioral issue.
They're minimal and, don't even exist. The differences. Right. Yeah.
And I was seeing like a lot of the things that we're dealing with in this community. I wasn't necessarily experiencing them like firsthand. What it was is that I was observing these things from a distance. So it's like, I might not be the married guy that the wife is cheating on me, but I'm the single guy who's meeting all these married women that don't give a damn about their commitment. And I'm just like, wow, what's going on? So I know that there's an issue here. I know that it's not right. I know it's not fair, but I'm experiencing this from the other side. Yeah. So maybe I don't have children, but I'm dealing with single mothers that keep telling me, oh, my kid is getting picked on at school and this is how I want to handle it. I'm having problems with the coach. I have to go down to the school and talk to the coach. And it's like, well, what happened? I'm curious. I got 10 minutes to listen to you before I, pound you out in the bedroom. Go ahead and tell me, let me act interested. It's good conversation for the ride home or to the hotel. Oh, well, he's, yelling at my son and telling him all these mean things. And really, what type of things is he telling him? Johnson, you're too slow. And I'm thinking to myself,
Sounds like good coach.
That's how coaches, that sounds like good coaching to me.
Yeah, go.
Right.
Get off your ass.
Right. If you're too slow, then you need to speed up.
Yeah.
If you're too weak, weight room.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I remember the coach being like, you, weight room, you, get on the track. That's the coach's job.
Where'd you play football at? In New York?
I played we did some things in middle school. I got a concussion and my mom got all scared. And
in middle school?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to play football anymore.
Damn.
But I was able to get back playing football by high school, so that was awesome.
Nice.
Wasn't the fastest, but fast enough to play. Basketball, I wasn't tall, but good enough to play. So that was kind of the experience, and I enjoyed it and took it for what it was worth. I was always athletic enough to be on the team, to play. Track and field, it was like I was fast enough to beat everybody on the other team, but I wasn't fast enough to beat my teammate. So I'm always coming in second place to the guy on my team. But I learned so much from playing sports, as far as the camaraderie, as far as
the coaches.
Yeah, I learned a lot from the coaches, and the type of relationships and the bonds that you build with other guys.
Yep.
And I'm just looking and I'm seeing like all of these things are missing.
I had this too growing up. I played middle school football and then high school as well. Super positive relationships with the coaches. They were, aggressive sometimes, mean, according to like a single mom or some shit. But this is what I needed at that age. And the camaraderie you built too was amazing. The team building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you see, this is the thing. As boys, we know that if this male adult is being hard on us, there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, they care. So as a little boy, you understand this person isn't being mean to me because they mean me harm. It's actually the opposite. Yeah. This person putting in that effort because they care. And as a little boy, that matters to you, that you're visible.
They're a father figure in a way.
Right. Yeah. I exist to this person. So I'm getting this extra attention because this person cares. Mm-hmm. Right. And then the next thing is because that person wants you to be better, or that person sees a potential in you that you're not quite getting. So you learn that from men, you have to earn the validation. Whereas women, it's, you're my little baby, and you're always getting the same level of love.
Yeah, here's a trophy.
Right, you're getting the same level of attention, the same level of love, regardless of your output.
Yep. So
I think as boys, we value that attention from the male figures more because it cost us something. Mm-hmm. We had to earn that, right? And that's why fathers are so important, and they help children to develop self-esteem and confidence, because you have to earn your father's praises, so to speak. And then also he kind of puts a consequence on everything. So there's a consequence on being lazy. There's a consequence on failure, because you run the risk of disappointing him, which is like the worst thing that you can do. But when you have this single mother thing going on, and then she's going to the school and she's complaining about the coach, and now the coach is under question. And then the coach starts to feel like, well, if I care and I'm passionate and I coach these kids passionately, I'm running a risk.
I get bitched at.
Right. Yeah. I could lose my job. Yeah. And nobody understands, but yet they're not coaches. Yeah. So I have all these other people with different positions in the school criticizing me and critiquing how I coach, but none of you coach.
I think it's like men basically have positive reinforcement, for kids or for students or whatever, or players, and negative reinforcement. And then like what you're saying is that basically these women, this effeminacy or this hyper feminine stuff, there's only positive reinforcement, and then they minimize all the negative reinforcement, which fucks kids up, whether it's single moms or in school or whatever.
And it's taking away this competitive element.
Yeah.
And then you have someone like Andrew Tate that says, life for a man is player on player. And everybody says, oh, that's genius. Yeah. And I'm not taking anything away from Andrew. I love and have a lot of respect from Andrew. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of the things that he's saying are things that, some grown man should have pulled you to the side and told you that when you were 7, when you were 8. And you would have understood, I have to apply myself. I have to be better than the kid next to me. You know what I mean? Or else I'm not going to get picked. Yeah. I can't go to a new neighborhood and go to the park and all these kids are playing and they know each other and I want to play too. Well, there's a cost to play. You have to be good. Yeah. So when you call next, they're like, yo, we don't know this kid. You know this kid? I don't know this kid.
Well, there's a difference between first string and second string. You want to be first string, you got to fucking win. You got to compete. Right. You got to outcompete the other guy.
And you learn that at a young age. Yeah. And it has nothing. See, the problem is a lot of the women, they sit back, these moms and stuff, they sit back and they interpret that as boys fighting or boys not liking each other, or my son's getting rejected. And it's like, no, you're competitive with your friends. You're competitive with your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
We're friends, but we're still competitive.
Yeah.
When it comes to talking to girls, oh man, you can't get her number. Watch me.
Yeah.
You're friends regardless. You both like the same girl. You're still friends. But you're gonna get out there and you're gonna compete. You're gonna try. So now, if your friend gets the girl, if your homeboy gets the girl, you already know. You don't take it personally. You brush it off. You say, all right, man, you got that one. But nowadays we have grown men that are pissed at strangers for getting the girl. Oh, they just like Tads and Tyrones and like, whoa, his name's not Tyrone. That guy's name's not Chad. Have some respect. But because she likes him and doesn't like you, you're salty about it. You're resentful.
Yeah.
When in all actuality, if it was your best friend that got the girl, you weren't supposed to be salty. You're supposed to say, all right, I'm going to get the next one.
These are like cartoon characters, people building their heads up, you're saying.
Right. Yeah. They're building up this type of, this nemesis, this boogeyman.
Yeah.
Right. And you have young kids that are at this impressionable age, and that's the time to either make them weak or make them strong. We're either going to make them a bunch of pussies, or we're going to make them bigger, better, stronger. And even from that, somebody's going to be stronger. Mm-hmm. Right. So I was having a conversation, and the guy was like, his whole point of questioning, right, was basically what I think about alpha and how can guys be alpha? Ayindei, what this? And I just was like, wait a minute, time out. What is with this fascination about being alpha or alpha? Everybody can't be alpha.
Well, I wanted to talk about that actually. I mean, your
Right.
channel is named Authentic Alphas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, we talked about it a little bit, I think, on one of the earlier ones, but I don't, honestly remember what went into actually defining the channel name like that.
Right.
I'm assuming you tend to keep it too.
Well, let's see if I can say it like this, if I can use this to kind of as an analogy.
Okay.
They would say to you, hey, listen, don't even participate in this competition. Don't even prep for this. Don't even compete if you don't plan on winning. If your aim and your goal isn't to win and to beat everybody, you might as well stay home, right? So you're entering into this with a winner mindset, okay? Let's say 10 guys are going to compete, whatever this is. 10 guys are getting ready for a competition, right? And let's say 8 or 9 of them come in there with a winner's mindset. That doesn't change how many winners there's going to be. Still only one guy's going to win.
Yeah.
But they all had a winner mindset, though. They all went in there with that attitude, and they all went in there with that type of determination and willing to put in that type of work and sacrifice. So when I say authentic alphas, what I want guys to take from that is that you're coming into this conversation with an alpha mindset. Maybe you're not going to be the alpha dog, but you damn sure need to come in here with that mindset. So if we're on a team, there's only going to be one captain. That doesn't mean the rest of my teammates are useless. That doesn't mean they're weak. That doesn't mean they're not valuable. That doesn't mean that they're not respectable. So where's this fixation on this alpha as if only the alpha wins? Only the alpha is important. Only the alpha is valuable. No. Everybody that comes with a mindset to win, to be strong, to be resilient, and to be determined, we all win with that mindset. So the guys that lose are the guys that stay home and give up. They don't even try. And it's, oh, beta. It's like, whoa. You're running around calling everybody beta.
So let's pause on this because I saw a YouTube video just a couple days ago. Some guy, it was from a video on your channel, and I think you're intentionally posting like failed cold approaches or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Posting your L's, and this guy was trying to roast you and attack you. Some YouTuber, I don't think he was that big, some guy. And just looking at the guy, I could tell, I'm like, all right, man, when have you gone out and approached any women at all?
Well, he has
like,
to leave the country to get a girl. He has to leave the country.
Oh yeah.
To get an angle, right?
If that even, it just won't even do that. Just stay home. I mean, literally won't leave the house. Live them with their mama or whatever. So that just comes to mind. These guys who bitch and they'll attack anybody that says you can get game, you can be better with women, you should go out, you should talk to women. They try to make it this endless black hole of it'll never work, and it's like, man, you're fucking crazy.
What they are is people. I like to accuse them of being afraid of mirrors.
Of mirrors?
They're afraid of their own reflection.
Yeah.
Because they don't want someone to take away their luxury of saying, you can't win. This can't be done.
Yeah.
Right? The women are unrealistic is the problem. right? The system is unfair. The system is rigged. And it's too hard to do this. It's too hard to do that. So the argument now that I'm trying to dispel is that short guys shouldn't bother to try and date. If you're short, it's no point in dating. Well, I'm going to tell you how that's ridiculous on face value. If dating for short guys was futile, short guys would cease to exist.
Yeah, good point.
Because there'd be no short dads.
Yep.
So that's how ridiculous that argument is. It's a ridiculous argument. And then when you look at the percentage of the population that's considered to have a great face, that's a small population. So you're trying to tell me those are the only guys getting laid? Yeah. Guys that have amazingly good-looking faces? And then it's like, oh, well, these women only want tall guys. You're confusing what women want with what women actually get, what women actually settle for. Yeah. That's the mistake you're making. So when women say they want nice guys, right? You believe that they're full of shit because of their dating history. Okay, so why when they say they only date guys that are 6 foot and over, all of a sudden it's believe all women? Yeah. Did you see the ridiculousness of it?
This is a good point in hypocrisy. This is like black pill, a little bit of MGTOW stuff too, but this is very black pill mindset.
There's no logic in it. Yeah. And then also we have to be careful with how accurate women's claims are. Because a woman can say, oh, I've dated several guys that are over 6'5". And then when you really get into it and you really take a closer look, what she means is, oh, I've slept. Yeah. I've slept with 4 guys that are over 6'5".
Well, let's say even like how many guys have they banged? You know, they answer some questionnaire anonymously, 25. Really, it's like 35 or 40, right? They're just downplaying this number for whatever reason.
That's what I'm saying. So
I had a girl once tell me she banged this. She's like, I asked her number. She's like 25. I think it was actually 25 many years ago. I'm like, really? Like, am I in that too? She's like, yeah, you know. I'm like, what about, you know, she's like, well, there was this guy on the cruise, but I didn't count him because, you know, it was a cruise. And I'm like, what do you mean it was a cruise? Like, this is the kind of stuff they make up, right? If it was on a cruise, it was just one time on one cruise, it didn't count. Right. Girls do this goofy bullshit all day long.
You got to be careful with how they use words. So that's what I mean, because when you say date, you're talking about a relationship. Yeah. The guy was with you. When they answer your question, they just simply mean that they've been involved with a guy that was 6'5". Yeah. So they've never gotten a guy that was 6'5" to compete. Yep. Yet you've already accepted that, well, if I'm not over 6'2", she'll never give me a chance. Really? Because the guys that she actually dated, not that she deserved girlfriend status, that's a whole nother conversation. But the guys that actually were in a relationship with any time frame with her were guys all under 6 foot. Yeah. So all she's telling you is what she ideally would like.
That's what she's telling you her feelings basically about these issues. Right. I feel I deserve a guy over 6'2".
Exactly. So I'm looking to debate this guy, Wheat Waffles. And guys have asked me, like, what do you think about Wheat Waffles? Like, guys will be surprised who I listen to, because I've been listening to Wheat Waffles long before I had a channel.
Is he on video too, or is he anonymous YouTuber?
No, he doesn't show his face. Okay. So it's not like I'm not familiar with this guy's content and I have to like go look at it and say, well, this is what I think. So when it comes to these black pill guys, my argument is not with their logic. My argument is with their conclusion. You can show me all the stats you want. You can show me all the data that you want to show me. And you can tell me dating is dead and marriage is dead. You can tell me all of these things, right? But you are operating with the same logic as feminists. Let me tell you why. Because when you ask feminists about their views and how they see the world present day, it's heavily influenced by a time frame in which they didn't exist, which means you're misinterpreting the past. You're going to tell me about how men were abusive to their wives. You're going to tell me how marriage was slavery to women in the past. You're going to tell me all these things about a time frame when you did not exist. You weren't dating in the 30s. You weren't dating before women had the vote. So what are you basing this on? Oh, what you've been told. Yeah. Not a great-great-grandmother, not a great-great-grandaunt, not a woman from that time period's diary, not the love letters that she would write back and forth with her husband that was often some war fighting for his country. So you're not basing it on anything that's, you know, an actual person's account. You're basing it on what some talking pieces, some talking heads are telling you, who also didn't exist in that time frame, right? Now, when you talk to these black pillars, they're telling you about how much harder it is to date for men today. And I'm thinking to myself, really? So you're saying 50 years ago, it wasn't hard for men to get laid? The same time frame when men had to actually marry a woman to get access to the vagina.
Yeah.
And by marry, I mean they had to go and make something of themselves by like 18 or 19 to even be considered eligible to ask another man, hey, can I sort of kind of possibly get permission to court your daughter? Please.
Yep.
I'm a great guy.
It's like Coach Greg was talking about.
Right.
We watched a video beforehand. Yeah.
This is how hard I've been working, sir.
Yeah.
I'm a virgin. I've been doing nothing but working. Can I please take your daughter out?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that it was harder now than it was then to get a date? You got to be kidding me.
Imagine 100 years ago or 150.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So all of this talk about it's so hard to be a man today, stop it. It's always been hard to be a man.
Yeah.
The difference is back in the day, men were willing to pay the price of masculinity. Today, you're not. That's the difference. The difference is back in the day, men were willing to compete against the worst possible odds. They still were willing to go build that bridge. You might die because, 30% of the crew is going to die this year. But I'm still going to go out there and work. I'm still going to try to put some food on the table for my family.
Let me play devil's advocate, though. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with most of it by a long shot. But some things have fundamentally changed. That's the laws.
No, absolutely.
The political system.
So I was going there next.
Okay.
I don't think it's any harder today to be a man. I think the difference is today, masculinity is not celebrated because it's not a necessity. That's the difference. The difference is nobody's patting you on the back for being a man. Nobody's encouraging it in our boys. Nobody's encouraging you to be strong and resilient because we don't need you to be. In fact, we'd rather you be passive so that we can control you. But 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago, we need you to be strong because we need you to build this nation. We need you to build stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we need you to maintain the infrastructure.
Go fight and die.
Right. We didn't have automation to do it. We didn't have computers to do it. Before, we didn't have a use for you sitting at a desk behind a computer screen. Because now a man or a woman can do that. That's why we're telling women, hey, come into the workforce now. Because the grit that it requires to do the work today, it's not much grit. So yeah, a woman could do it. But in the past, we needed the women at home. Because we need you making babies so that we can now get those babies to grow up and go work.
Yeah.
So the powers that be had a different use for females in the past, and they had a different use for men. So they needed the women to be submissive to their husbands because the husbands were kind of like the management level. We need you to manage these women, right? While we control you. So we'll control you as the man, but we need you to manage your woman. And then when your son is like 18, we need him too. Yeah. We need him to go fight, or we need him to go build. So in my opinion, that's the differences today, is that they're not going to encourage you to be the man today. In the past, they were going to encourage you to be it because they needed them.
Well, you mentioned they're going to like downplay it, but they're also going to make it legally dangerous.
Oh, of course.
Me Too is I think a more unusual version of that, but family court is not. And anything to do with fatherhood and family court and marriage and divorce, I mean, you get fucked like hard.
Of course. But I mean,
and that's since about, I think, no fault divorces from the early 80s. So that's a recent change over the past 40 years.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with you with all of these changes that are basically demonizing men, right? And they're setting men up to now be enslaved by the women.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll give the women that ability, and we're not informing the men until it's too late.
Yep.
So that's why, of course, your type of content is not going to be welcome, because we don't want anybody giving young guys a heads up. We don't want anybody telling young guys, hey, if you get a girl pregnant, or she accuses you of getting her pregnant, she can just put your name on the birth certificate and that's your kid.
Paternity fraud, yeah.
Yeah, the guy, every time I tell a young guy that, you know what they say? Oh, well, I'll just get a test and prove that the kid's not mine.
Don't work like that.
Oh, that's illegal. You need her permission to have that done.
We have a guy, Carnell Smith, on our channel. He spoke last year. He's speaking this year too. He's from Georgia, and he's famous for this stuff because he got laws changed in 10 states. Because he went to court in Georgia, he was a victim of paternity fraud for 10 years, even though he remarried and had new kids with a new chick. He got 2 DNA tests that were admissible in court, proving that he was not the father of this kid that he'd been paying child support on, and he still got fucked. Even though he could prove he wasn't, they're like, no, we don't care. Exactly. It's in the best interest of the child. You keep paying. It ain't his kid.
Right.
So then he says, if the genes don't fit, you must acquit. That's like this whole little thing for it.
So many young guys don't know the system is set up like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But if they did, they take a lot more precaution.
Yeah.
And I hear so much talk, in the manosphere about, women are terrible people and women are dangerous and women are gold diggers and all these type of things. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, as a guy that's been in the field so much, I feel like there's a lot more valuable information and warnings that we can be giving guys. Mm-hmm. And we could be talking more about accountability than, victimization. Like I don't want to tell guys that they're victims. Yeah. I want to tell guys, hey, look out for these things. Be cautious. I want to tell guys, hey, listen, when you're out there partying and having a good time and you're meeting girls and they've been drinking and you're thinking, oh man, I could take this girl home. Stop and think for a second. It'd make a great story to tell the guys, but let's talk about the level of risk that you're running here. Yeah. What risk? What are you talking about? Oh, what am I talking about? Well, suppose somebody else put something in this girl's drink. Yeah, she likes you, but some guy that she didn't like so much bought her 2 drinks and he put something in one of them. So she goes home with you by choice. That guy wasted some good drugs, but now she goes home with you. Something happens. They do a toxicology test. They find something in her system. Yeah. Who's she with? This stunningly handsome young man. Huh. Did you buy her a drink? I bought her 1 drink. Oh, well, put your hands behind your back and put these bracelets on. Wait, what bracelets? I don't wear jewelry. No, you're coming with us. Yeah. For what? Oh, you put this date rape drug in her drink. No, I absolutely did not. Oh, but she left with you. You bought her a drink. We found this in her system. Yeah. 1 + 1 = 2. But if you had given the Ayindei answer, which is, listen, I'm having a great time with you. You're wonderful. You're beautiful. I really want to go home with you. But you know what? You've been drinking. I've been drinking. I don't want to forget anything. Why don't we exchange contacts and we'll go out another time, just me and you. I want the night to be mine. When you're getting dressed and you're putting on your makeup, I want you to be getting ready for me. Yeah. Oh my God, what are you talking about? No, you look amazing. But you came here to party. So have a good time. And if you really are interested in me, you remember me when you sober up, we'll do this another time. Now you have text messages. Now you have all kind of receipts. You're creating some type of safety for yourself.
You're using delayed gratification for risk management.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're that guy, or at least you're operating like you're that guy, at least you have the mindset of that guy, you will be able to do that. You'll be able to risk it. Because chances are she won't call you. She won't answer your message. You'll never see her again. That's a chance you got to be willing to take. Yep. Because I'd rather take that chance than take the chance of me being in jail because I hooked up with a stranger. And when the police are pulling us over, I'm like, hey, man, hey, look sober. Get your seatbelt on. Tighten up. When the police come over to the car and they ask for the license and they ask for her ID, and it turns out she's only 20. Now I'm like, yeah. Officer, I thought she was at least 21. I met her in the club. The officer's like, you want to step out of the car?
Nope.
At that moment, he fucked up.
There's a wide variety of this kind of shit that can happen. It's like all kinds of false accusations, paternity fraud.
What I'm saying. And if anything happens, guess what? The woman is going to put the onus on you. You just met her. She has no loyalty to you. She doesn't give 2 shits.
Yep.
Before she has to face everyone and admit that she's a slut, she's going to say, well, I didn't want anything to happen. That wasn't my intention. And then people are going to say, well, then why did something happen? And she's going to blame it on the alcohol like Jamie Foxx. And when she blames it on the alcohol, they're going to say, so you were drunk and he took advantage of you. They're going to fill in the blanks for her, guys.
Yeah.
They're going to finish the sentence for her. So she didn't say you assaulted her. They said it, and she didn't deny. She was like, well, because I don't want my parents to know that I'm out here just sleeping with random strangers and drinking at 20. So, all right, put it on this guy I just met. And now your future is ruined. So I just want guys to be a little bit more, what's the word? Responsible. Yeah. If you know something is dangerous, then it's on you to be responsible. Motorcycles are dangerous. If you fall off a motorcycle, are you going to blame the bike? So you can't blame women when we know that they're dangerous.
Something that came to mind too, and you mentioned guys as bitching about women, how terrible they are, all this kind of stuff. That's been around the manosphere for a long time. Mm-hmm. Women today certainly, I think, have changed. They're not their grandmas.
Of course not.
And we're not our grandfathers. So things have changed. Mm-hmm. But one thing that came to mind is, and specifically to the manosphere, these guys will say this stuff all day long, but most of them, not all Jesse Lee would say, right? Mm-hmm. Not all, but most. they will not only say nothing about Manosphere Frauds and these fakes, they will get angry when anyone does. It's like everybody's legit, nobody's a fraud, everybody's in it, for the mission and the purpose and the message and all the red pill and all this shit. And it's like, but women are all liars and frauds and con artists, and they're gonna fuck you over as soon as they can. It's like, man, do you think these dudes are all just angels? These fakes, like Condom and Sharp, someone I like to pick on a lot, just as a punching bag. But there's also Jack Murphy. There's Jesse Lee Peterson, who's a predator out in California. There's a lot of nasty stuff in the manosphere, and that's not new. If anything, it's gotten worse, I think, the past couple of years.
Well, see, for me, I think I have a very...
But it's the contrast between that is what I'm saying. It's like women are all frauds, and they're all predators.
And these guys,
they're all angels.
And I mean, that's the part about a lot of guys' messages that I didn't necessarily like, but at the same time, I'm kind of very comfortable using my own discernment. Like, I'm comfortable with kind of listening to someone and saying, you know what, I like 80% of this. I agree with like 80% of this. And without letting the 20% that I don't agree with really be a big deal with me, I kind of omit it from my mind. So the problem is a lot of these guys, they take it all, right? They take all 100% of it. And then it becomes a problem, because then it becomes almost like a cult-like type of relationship.
Called the personality.
Right. And they're not really taking the useful elements of this person and applying it to themselves. They're just taking all of it and just listening to it, and that's it.
They have no filter.
Right. Not only is there no filter, but they're also not applying themselves, right? They're not saying, well, hey, what do I plan to do with this information? Because all of this girls or bad type stuff, what are we doing with this information is the question. You see what I mean? Are we just getting upset with women, or are we somehow using this to better ourselves? Is what I think is missing from the manosphere. Whereas YouTube or whatever is full of information that men can use to improve themselves. I mean, you can figure out how to build an engine on YouTube. You can figure out almost anything.
Is that your buddy?
I have no idea.
We got to pause, guys. Hang on. It's got to be, buddy. Oh, fuck. Hang on, guys. That's not one of your buddies. Hey, I got something going on. Just wait. Do you think?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sounds like it's a roofer.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, yeah.
So if you can find a band, put it outside.
I will. Thank you. Yep.
You need a do not disturb sign.
Yeah. I thought it was your buddy, like it was raining or something.
Nah, he wouldn't have did that. That's why I was a little surprised. I was like, he wouldn't have did that. He would have just, he would have shot me a message.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Roof bullshit. They fixed it. They repaired the roof, like rebuilt half of it recently.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely, obviously, there are going to be some people who, they have some nefarious intentions or whatever.
Yeah.
And for me, it was interesting because obviously I kind of was viewing and watching this type of content.
And that's like a realistic view on the manosphere, though. You got content creators, you got money involved. Some people are going to be legit. Some people are going to be fake. You got people in between.
That's everything. I mean, that's the same thing like in the fitness industry. It's
I'm
like,
sure.
You got people that really want to help people, and then you got people that are like, okay, how many people can I sell the same diet? You know what I'm saying? How many people can I trick into hiring me as an online coach, and they'll be working with my assistant and they don't even know it?
Yeah.
That's who's emailing them or whatever. So guys, anytime there's money involved, there's going to be corruption. That's just life.
That seems to be missing though from the manosphere. Like these guys really don't want to hear it. It's like the minute, just me, I do it all the time, obviously. So I see a higher volume of this kind of stuff, but it's like, if I go after anybody for any reason, no matter what evidence is available, there's always this aggressive cult-like pushback. And that can vary per individual depending on how close or how tight the attachment is from the following to the guy. But it's just, it's bizarre to see. They'll tell you all day long, women are frauds and they're predators and this and they're vampires and shit. And then these dudes are just innocent angels. They're here to help us no matter what.
I mean, I get a little of both though, because I get a lot of guys that are like a guy messaged me the other day and was just like, he was like, I guess Ayindei only exposes content creators that he doesn't like. No, scammers that he doesn't like, because other scammers, he supports them. And I just was like, listen, grab a dictionary, look up the definition of support, and then tell me what content creator I'm doing that for. Because the last time I checked, I'm not supporting anyone.
What would here's a good example though. Like I love Andrew Tate. I think he's legit as fuck. People for years have bitched at me to get away from Tate. Feminists, tradcons, you know, all kinds of across the political spectrum or whatever. People have told me get away from him. He's evil. He's toxic. All the misogyny. I'm like, nah, Tate's fucking awesome. Fuck all of you.
Yeah, yeah.
But have you gotten this too? Like, this people are like, oh, Tate's a fraud. You're stupid for supporting him.
I haven't been getting that lately.
Okay.
And I'm starting to covering Tate a lot more frequently. Really, because he kind of told me to. You know what I'm saying? He kind of like, yo, go ahead. You know. So I was like, all right, I guess I should be responding to your stuff. Because usually I don't respond to anything that's happening, anything that's current. But the more I try to like learn the algorithm and kind of study, like, why isn't my channel growing faster? Why are my views going down? Like, what's going on? And then it's like, you know what? You're not talking about what is trending. You're not talking about what YouTube wants to put in front of people because it's already proven subject matter. So it's like, well, if everybody's talking about Tate right now, part of me feels like that's what I don't need to talk about because everyone else is talking about Tate. So I say to myself, okay, Ayindei, you're not a, left, right, up, down, black, white kind of guy. You're a middle gray area type of person. So figure out what's the compromise you can make to kind of like get the best of both. So I had to kind of stop and think, all right, how can I incorporate Tate without feeling like I'm in some type of echo chamber? So what I decided to do was start interviewing women and allowing them to give feedback and respond to a particular Tate clip. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting a clip and saying, watch this, and let's get your natural organic response to this. I don't want you to talk about Tate, in general. I don't want you to, you know what I'm saying? Let's not do too much. Let's just focus on this one particular thing that he said. And then how do you feel about it? Do you agree with him or disagree with him? Was it offensive or not offensive? And just kind of simplify it like that. And I'm meeting girls who have never heard of Andrew Tate, which I think is awesome. And then I'm meeting girls who also have heard of him, but they've only heard negative things.
Yeah.
But
these
they
are
never,
like street interviews. I think I've seen you do a couple of those in the past.
I've been doing it mostly like over StreamYard.
Oh, okay, I'm on.
Right. So I'm reaching out to girls like over social media, but I will, make some time to actually try to get some people like out in the streets and stuff also.
I think that'd be powerful, man. Street interviews,
Right.
especially in Miami.
But the idea is I'm not trying to influence or alter their view in any way. It's not about my opinion because we all know I don't really disagree with Tate on anything in particular. But I want to kind of just hear what they have to say and just create the opportunity for them to kind of be non-biased about it. Because a lot of the girls tell me, oh, I've heard of him and I've heard all these negative things. It's like, whoa, but have you ever watched a Tate interview? No, I haven't. And it's like, well, you know what I mean? Let's listen to a clip in its full context. Yeah. Right? Not 50 seconds of the most offensive part of that clip, maybe, right? I don't want you to hear him just say Spider-Man's a pussy. I want him to explain why he feels like Spider-Man's a pussy. You know what I mean? And usually I get some pretty balanced responses. And I just felt like that's a cool, fun, interesting way to kind of talk about Tate, because it's like, why did he get banned? Oh, well, he's offensive. He's a misogynist. So that's one of the questions that it's like, all right, well, I want to ask women, do they think that Andrew Tate is a misogynist? Because every time I've been around him and women at the same time, he's charmed the hell out of these women while still saying exactly what he thinks and believes in. Yeah. And he's gotten these women to actually agree, but they like him overall. And this is what people, this is what guys think, because the guys are familiar with Tate. So the guys think, yeah, but that's because he's tall, and that's because he's handsome, and that's because he's rich. And let me stop you right there. Because the women will often go out of their way to say, he's not my type, looks wise. A lot of these women, they don't find him attractive as, just being tall and light skinned guy. No. And they don't know how much money he has. They don't know that this guy has money. They have no idea. But it's the charisma, the personality, the confidence, and the intellect, the intelligence. But a lot of guys, they just assume that women fall into the arms of Andrew Tate because he's this rich guy. And I'm telling you right now, he doesn't lead with his money like that, guys.
Yeah, he's not some beta, some
right.
Rich.
He doesn't lead with his money like that. He doesn't feel like he needs to.
He's very persuasive. And aggressive.
Very persuasive.
Yeah.
Right? So he doesn't have an issue with being likable. He has no issue whatsoever with being likable. So I think the controversy is intended. I believe that. I think he doesn't mind certain people getting the wrong impression of him or misinterpreting him, because it actually gives him an opportunity now to say what it is that he wants to say to people who normally wouldn't have been listening otherwise.
Well, it's also, it's letting him stir the pot and win in the attention economy. I mean, the internet has changed so much in the past 20, 25 years, but now it's like all about attention. Yep. His ability to command that, recently has just been amazing. And, it resulted in the ban for now, but it's been really impressive to see. I'm very proud of him in a way. Like, this is awesome.
I think it's good for society because, I mean, think about it. He's basically a threat to the status quo because he's someone where, technically speaking, they can't control him.
Yeah.
Right? They can't control him, and they cannot control how people react to him either.
Yes.
So that is terrifying to the powers that be, because they want to be able to call this person a name, accuse this person of this or that, and silence them.
Yeah.
And it not be questioned, and nobody support it, nobody follow them. So for one man to be able to say, I'm going to have my way with this algorithm.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the algorithm my bitch.
Yep.
Right? And he went from being banned to being on Fox 5. So technically speaking, he's more influential now than he was prior to the ban.
I mean, he got billionaires to react to him is what he did. Multiple.
So that was genius. I think that was genius what he did. And at this point, they really can't win, because first of all, they can't remove him now because other people are putting out his content.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, Tate has been so vocal that trying to scrub the internet of the things that he said is going to be almost impossible, because he's been saying things for so long, and he's been so accommodating to anyone who would like to interview him. He hasn't been the type of person that won't have the conversation. So the conversations exist in abundance. So good luck trying to get rid of them. And then every time he's in front of a microphone, he says something memorable.
Yeah.
Every single time. He says something memorable without it even being the same thing. Usually when someone is polarizing, it's usually for saying the same damn thing. And maybe they go other places and say basically the same thing.
It's like a shtick, they call it. Yeah.
Right. Like, punish bad behavior. It's like, okay, well, how many times are you going to say that?
And politics is common too. I go to the CPAC events, and I was very disappointed that it's like the manosphere of the fitness industry. It's like mostly frauds. There's some legit people that really care about these different issues and conservative politics or freedom or whatever. Ian Smith, one of our speakers, is a guy who's an example of that, legit. But most of them at these events, all these interviewers and reporters and shit, and even a lot of the elected officials are just like, they're typical slimy politicians. They just happen to be red or Republican, or they support Trump for now. And it's sick. And disappointing.
They can't be trusted because what's the motive? Yep. What's the agenda? So, I mean, like, even your convention that's coming up, in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, what can I bring that's valuable yet unique?
Yeah. Right.
Because there's going to be guys there who obviously have a vested interest in men in general these days, or manhood in general. And I think that's what we have to kind of look for and be able to differentiate the guys that are kind of coming in with this, like, this monetary agenda. How do I monetize this?
Yeah.
As opposed to the guys that are coming in that truly have an issue with what's going on with masculinity today. Like, it's irking them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to take my girl to Disney, and I wasn't even saying anything, but she could tell. Like, she was just looking at my face, and she was like, you can't even just enjoy this and just be in the moment, because I'm looking around and all I see is soy boys. All I see is grown ass men wearing Mickey Mouse caps and, looking
fat and shit.
Exactly. Looking all weak and pathetic. And they're actually interested in this. They don't have any kids, or they don't have a woman. Well, why are you here? The amount of grown men I saw wearing Crocs and you know what I mean? Goofy t-shirts. And I'm like, dude, you're like 6'2". You're supposed to be, chopping down trees somewhere. You're supposed to be like building cabins. You're supposed to be doing something useful. You're supposed to be making a contribution to society, to women and children.
And now he's taking a selfie with Goofy.
Exactly. Now you're over here playing and basking, in this childish atmosphere, like a woman or child.
Yeah.
And it was like I was seeing two, polar opposites. I was seeing these type of weak men that I can tell, like, you grew up with your mom or your auntie, and she just kind of like let you sit at home and play with toys and like watch Star Wars over and over and over again. Like, she just let you kind of just be a big kid for the rest of your life.
Mama's boy.
Right. Like the other kids didn't like you. They didn't let you play with them. You were getting bullied. So her solution was to distance you from children that might bully you. So you were overly sheltered, right? And you grew up taking Game of Thrones a little too seriously. You grew up liking The Hobbit a little too much, where you didn't like actually go out and live real life.
Yep.
So it's like I was seeing that extreme over and over again, but then I was seeing the other extreme. I went to work hard like a man. I built something. I'm a provider. I'm a father. I'm a husband. And I'm here with this stone cold face holding this baby while my other kid is here playing. You see what I mean? And my wife is over there, waiting in line for that. And I'm finally getting some quality time with my kids. I can enjoy Disney because I've been, working so hard to be able to provide this experience for my children. And I felt like I was seeing less of that than these grown man babies. And it was pissing me off. It was irritating the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Because I was once that little kid that was so happy, you know what I mean, that I could be at Disney. You know what I mean? With my cousins, with my uncle, with my grandpa. And I knew that this is special and limited because these men are always working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're always working. And they promised that we were going to go to Disney, and now we're here. Who knows how long it's going to be before we could do this again, right? And even for me to be able to spend time with my nieces and nephews and do something like that, it's very, very special to me, right? How hard do we have to work to be able to do that as men? You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to see is some guy that went and be a slave to the system to save his money to go to Disney by himself and go on all the rides because he doesn't have any friends and he can't get a girlfriend and he doesn't have any kids.
I imagine the Star Wars thing is probably the worst. You went to Hollywood Studios, they call it?
I went to all of them. I bought all the access passes so we could go to all the parks, spend the whole day. And I enjoyed, going on the rides I wanted to go on, the things that I want to do. I'm not big on roller coasters, but I really was just out there people watching.
Yeah.
And I was trying to wrap my head around how I'm going to go at this debate.
You mentioned 21 Convention, obviously, a few minutes ago. I want to talk about that a little bit.
Definitely.
So it's your first time speaking this year. It's coming up in about 38 days, a little bit over a month. October 14th, 17th, 2022. Get your tickets now, 21studios.com. But what are you looking forward to at the event in terms of maybe the other speakers or the experience? Coach Greg will be there, Richard Grannon, Jack Donovan, Jeff Younger, a lot of famous people.
Well, I'm definitely interested in meeting as many, different creators as possible and getting to know them kind of man-to-man personal kind of thing. Yeah. Because it's so different getting to know someone from their content and getting to know them in real life.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Coach Greg Adams, like his work. I loved his work. And
same. And
then meeting him, I was just like, I was really not surprised, amazed, or shocked, but I was very grateful to see that he's more Coach Greg Adams in real life than he is on the screen.
Did you meet him in Miami?
I met him in Miami, but then I also ran into him again at the CME in Vegas. Okay. So I'm looking forward to the convention because I feel like it's my opportunity to speak at the real deal when I was cock blocked on the on the copy, right? Yeah. So Donovan actually asked me to speak at the CME. Not the one that I went to, but basically, hey, the next one you're on the roster already. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna learn, and I'm willing to add value. I mean, if you need me to mop up aisle 4, I got you. If you need me to help you with this, I'm always trying to add value, right? I'm a team player. And kind of the people that he's running with and the relationship that I have with them. So basically, he was told, hey, listen, you can't work with this guy. If you give this guy any opportunities, we're not going to do this, this, and that. So he ended up having to renege on me, which was interesting because I kind of mentioned that concern from the beginning. I said, well, you know that, I'm not getting along with these guys. And he's like, oh, no, nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me who to have on my show. And nobody tells me who to have at my event. And I was like, okay.
All bullshit.
I said, okay. I mean, at the time, it made sense to me. And I was blackballed, right?
Yeah.
So many content creators were told, hey, listen, you can't work with this guy. And I'm not saying like they were told preemptively, because then it just sounds like I'm making stuff up. No. These people were told this after already agreeing that to work with me, that they wanted to work with me. I'm talking about we already decided what we were going to do. Okay.
So I want to pause on this real quick. I'm going to show you when we get off live here in a bit. I recently had a big YouTuber, very big in the Manosphere, one of the biggest around, and he hasn't spoken to 21 yet. We've been talking for a couple of years about it. He was ready to pull the trigger recently, except at the last minute, he demanded that I make peace with Fed and shit, as I call them, for him to speak. So the last minute, he put this condition, this demand on my behavior, on my relationships, how I'm going to conduct myself at my event. I'll let you read, and you can imagine how I responded to this. This bullshit that Conovan spun you up. Nobody tells me what to do at my event, blah, blah, blah. That's all just masquerading BS. His wife tells him what to do, Miss Piggy, 47-year-old single mom. But this guy actually tried the shit with me. And man, that's the fastest way to fucking piss me off. It's try to dictate to me my relationships, put special conditions for speaking at my event.
Who you work with, who you don't work with.
Yeah, exactly. When I extend an honest invitation, there's no conditions. It's just, you want to speak or no? Yes or no? Here's the deal, the speeches, just the standard stuff. But it's very unusual when anyone tries that these days. But this guy actually tried that shit. And I'm like, man, you're going to get fucked up, bro. You want to get memed? You're going to get memes shoved down your fucking throat and you get shit them out of your ass.
That's even worse than like saying, because that, to me, that's worse than you going to the other person and saying, hey, I don't like this person, so don't work with this person. To me, that's very feminine, because that's what women do. They try to assassinate your character when they have a disagreement with you. And they're willing to lie about you. They're willing to say whatever happened, or they're willing to just simply say, if you talk to this person, then you don't talk to me anymore. Yeah. Right. And that's exactly.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
to
shit.
me, that's the exact same thing. Yeah. Because you could have simply just said, because in my mind, and I could be wrong, guys. I could be wrong. Right. But me personally, I would never, that would never even cross my mind. Because my logic would be, I respect this person as a man. Yeah. So they decide who they do and don't work with. And if they come to me and they say, hey, listen, I know you're having problems with so-and-so, so I'm not going to work with them. Out of respect for you, I'm not going to collaborate with this person that you have a problem with. But that's that person's decision, is my point. Yeah. As a man, they could very well say that, because they don't want to offend you. They don't want there to be any misunderstanding. You
respect their autonomy, and you expect it in return.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But to be the one to tell them, hey, you don't work with this person, and you don't know. To me, that's
it's puppet master shit too.
I think it's feminine. Yeah. I don't think it's a power play. I don't think that's a power play, because are you acquiring power by doing that? No, you're just being grudgeful and bitter. Yeah. And feminine. You're being bitchy. Yeah. So you're being like what a girl would be, because a girl is looking for the what's the word? She's looking for, like, I don't know how to describe the element that she's looking for, but she's like, if I don't like that person, you can't like that person. It's like, huh. Yeah. If it's business, you should be letting that man choose what's best for his business, but to penalize him, what that means is that you and that man don't even have any type of real mutual respect. Or like for each other. What it means is that you're simply leveraging what you could do for that person over their head. Yes. That's what that means.
You're like, I owe them something.
Right. You're not trying to help them because you want to see their business flourish. Yeah. You're not trying to help them because you feel like, hey, I owe you one, and we're doing things for each other. Yeah. You're basically trying to exert a power play on that very same person that's supposed to be on your team. Yeah. That's who you're exerting the power on.
It's corrupt too.
Right. See, this dude tried to assert the power on you by saying you do this, and that. Right. So either way, I mean, I don't like that type of behavior. And I think that's some of the things that's missing in masculinity today, that we don't understand what is and isn't acceptable as men. Right. So, like, one more thing, like that about like Tate has said that I felt was kind of like common sense. At least it was when I was growing up. And someone asked him a question, and this is the type of question that these guys today ask, because they're very, very lost when it comes to not only women, but how to conduct themselves with other guys.
Yeah.
And he says, well, what if you break up with a girl and then she sleeps with your best friend? And Tate's response was confusion, because he was like, what do you mean? Like, what best friend? He's like, no. Like, if the girl sleeps with your best friend, and Tate is still confused, because he's like, where's the best friend in this equation?
Yeah.
Because if the guy slept with the girl, that's not your best friend. So the question isn't, what do you do about the girl? The question is, why would you be considering that dude a friend?
It was all bullshit. Yeah.
But it went over that young guy's head, because he wasn't taught how to pick his friends, basically.
Yeah.
And he wasn't taught what's the code amongst guys.
How to manage boundaries and enforce them.
Right. And we should both know that as guys. We should already know, because my whole thing wasn't that the problem was that he slept with the chick. The problem was that the initial guy was the last to know. How that conversation was supposed to go is, yo, what's up with you and this chick? Oh, no, man, fuck that bitch. We broke up. What? Yeah, man, I ain't messing with her no more. Yo, bro, you mind if I smash that? Like, you wanna hit that? I mean, listen, no disrespect to you, but if you don't care, you know what I'm saying? I'll revenge fuck her. What's up? Bro, go ahead, man. I don't care. You sure? Man, I don't give a damn about her, man. Bros over hoes. That's how that conversation should have went, if at all. You see what I'm saying? If at all. Because if this guy's finding out in that way, that means your boy is keeping something from you.
Yeah.
So therefore, he's not your friend. But he's quick to keep something from you with her. It should be the other way around. Your friend should be keeping your secrets for you, not keeping secrets from you.
Yeah.
So I feel like even though we have content creators and they're supposed to know it all, right? They're supposed to know everything about this type of stuff. They can't be wrong, right? Because they have a microphone and they have 100,000 subscribers. They can't possibly be wrong.
Because they have headphones, they can't be wrong on their head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of these young guys, they just don't know how to tell the real from bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess that kind of puts a little bit of responsibility on us. But at the end of the day, do we have to tell the truth?
It's a choice. Yeah.
And it's an integrity. It's a question of integrity,
character.
Yep. And that's what I think are one of the things we need to be talking about a little bit more. And let's take the focus off of the character of women a little bit and put it more on us, because I feel like we should be the ones that have the influence over the women. When I'm training someone in the gym, I'm trying to teach this person how to have influence over the weight, not the weight have influence over them. I want them to manipulate the weight. I don't want the weight to manipulate them. I want them to adjust and move the weight how they see fit, not them have to adjust to the existence of the weight. Mm-hmm. So I feel like when we're giving women this much power, we're basically saying that they dictate to us. They're the arbiters of us. They change us. They make us adjust. And they're making certain guys give up. Mm. And I don't want to see society, women, the internet, whatever. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see anything make men give up on themselves. Because if you say to me, oh, I'm black pill, and you know, if you're not a 6 foot Chad, then there's no point.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Well, is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted? No, you wanted a girlfriend. You wanted to get married one day. You wanted to have a family. And then they're going to say to me, oh, but Ayindei, you know you can't because of this law and divorce court and all these other type of things. I say, whoa. Yeah. That just sounds like things to be aware of to me. That sounds like hurdles. That sounds like things to take precaution.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like you give up on what you want in life because of the barriers that are put up.
I say it all the time, this comment, though, what you're saying, it's the most ridiculous comment. One of the most I see on YouTube on my channel is, you know, I'm not doing anything. I'm not getting married. I'm not building a family until the laws change. It's like, dude, you're 35. The laws aren't going to change. They're going to take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years to change. What the fuck are you talking about? You're going to build a family when you're 85? This is it's really overtly delusional.
And they're not going to change anything.
Yeah.
The laws aren't going to, the laws might change, yes, granted, but it's not going to change what is still required of you to get the cooperation that you want. So they could change the rules, but is it going to change women? Is it going to change how they think, how they act, how they behave?
That's a good point, because there's other fundamentals at play that they're not even accounting for. The laws being bad are one fundamental, but women are another fundamental. Female nature is another one that has never changed. All this stuff.
It's never changed. And I try to tell guys that all the time. Women are the same. Women have always been the same. The only thing that's different is the environment. So you can change the environment. I'm all for that. The guys that are like, yo, I'm getting my passport and all of that, that's cool. But just do realize that you still have to do all the same fundamental shit.
Well, even the internet has changed the environment. TikTok, Instagram, Tinder, all this shit has changed the environment.
Right. But you still would have to have these fundamental things going on for yourself. You would have to. So when guys say, is it better to meet a girl on Tinder, or is it better to cold approach? Is it better? And I'm just so confused. I'm like, why are you over here weighing one against the other?
Yeah.
They're just different tools in your arsenal.
Yep.
You're asking me, is a screwdriver better than a wrench or better than a hammer? I don't get it. They're all different ways to carry out a job, to carry out a task. So how skilled are you at using these tools are the question. So you're going to be great with a hammer, but terrible with a screwdriver? What's going on? Why don't you try to get as good with each tool as possible? And then at the end of the day, no matter which way you meet this individual, you're still going to have to be this guy. You're still going to have to be that guy. So it's not like, oh, I met her on Tinder, so I don't have to be this, and that. Oh, no, since I cold approach, I don't have to. No, bro, you would still have to be whatever you would have to be, right? That's just how you meet her. And it's like, oh, well, this guy does well with women because he's 6 foot. Okay, he might stand out to women because he's 6 foot. Once he meets her, it's still how he talks, how he acts, how he, all of that's still going to come into play at some point in time anyway. So what I'm saying is there's many different ways that you can get an opportunity, but you still have to be who you are to carry out that opportunity. Did you get that job because of nepotism? Did you get that job because you have a friend that referred you? Did you get that job because you found it in the yellow pages? Either way, when you get there, they still expect you to do this job and do it well. Is all I'm saying, guys. So
they still expect you to be a man, always.
At the end of the day, you still got to be a man regardless, bro.
Well, we've been going for a little over an hour, so I'm going to wrap it up. Appreciate your time coming over. We'll do another interview in a minute.
Yeah. We'll do something from my channel.
Cool.
Ask you a couple questions. And
appreciate you coming by.
Always. Thanks for having me. I know it took long enough from you gave the actual invite, but it was going to happen eventually. We're in the same state.
That worked out. Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to Authentic Alphas on YouTube. There's a link in the description. You can also search Authentic Alphas. I believe you're also on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that.
I'm working on those other platforms, guys. Give me a minute. I'm working on it, but cool. The support is definitely appreciated, and that's the faster I can get rolling and put out some really, really good quality content.
Good stuff. Yeah. And also, you can meet Ayindei in person here in Orlando, Florida, in about 4 weeks. Not even. That's October 14th, 17th at the 21 Convention. Get tickets in the description or visit 21studios.com. There's an early bird sale that ends September 15th. And then again at the end of the month, September 30th. And you can bring a friend free. So check it out. See you soon back in Orlando in a few weeks.
Yes, sir.
And for those of you coming out, look forward to meeting you soon too. Peace out.
Awesome.